So this is a 2013 Mercedes Benz SL65 AMG, the most powerful, most expensive roadster Mercedes had ever offered at the time as a top shelf product, featuring a twin-turbocharged V12 under the hood with a starting MSRP back in 2013 of over $212,000. Now this particular example features just 15,000 original miles and is equipped with several options on what was already a feature-packed car, and it's now for sale. It's heading up for auction on Bring a Trailer, where it will be selling with no reserve as offered from Cascio Motors. This SL65 AMG is part of the R231 or 6th generation of Mercedes Benz SLs. And the big change from the previous R230 generation was a heavy use of aluminum in terms of construction for these vehicles, saving over 300 pounds, which is a huge accomplishment. Then you combine that with the insane AMG outputs, especially with the twin turbocharged V12 here in the SL65 AMG, and you have yourself one heck of a luxury Autobahn cruiser with all of the power you could ask for. Now this particular example is finished in diamond white, which as you can see there in the sun has a nice bit of reflection and flake to it here, and it looks very, very nice on this particular car, finished over a black interior. This car does have some options on the exterior. It's equipped with the exterior carbon fiber package, which can be found here in the front with this lower front splitter section here in carbon fiber. Then over here on the side, both of your side mirrors are also finished in carbon fiber, and these fold in nicely and have integrated turn signals. And then finally here in the rear also gives you the addition of this carbon fiber spoiler, which nicely follows the curvature of the rear trunk lid. Now, as we take a look at some other cool details, starting at the front of the vehicle, it does have that classic Mercedes SL silhouette that we've grown to love. And then here in the front, you do have bi-xenon headlights, and then there's heavy use of LEDs throughout the car as well. You can see the traditional big Mercedes star up front with all of these intakes for that very thirsty and hungry Mercedes V12. And as we come around to the side here, the hood has these very aggressive lines that draw your eyes to these intakes here on the top, which are actually functional. Each side does a little bit of different things. There on the driver's side is more so heat extraction, whereas the air from here actually gets funneled out of the car. And then on the side, we have more functional vents as well, with some very cool V12 bi-turbo badging here on this car. As we take a look below that, the car features fully independent suspension that even features some active body roll control, which is very cool tech, with the adjustable options as well that I'll show you later. As we take a look at the wheels, the car runs a staggered setup. Here in the front, you have these beautiful 10-spoke wheels measuring 19 inches with AMG branding, and then even the massive brakes behind them are drilled and slotted with AMG branded brake calipers as well, which is a very nice touch. As you continue down to the car here, you can see here in the rear, we have the 20-inch wheels, which are also a bit wider. Again, massive brakes with a similar wheel setup, but again, just staggered and different for the back. As you take a look at the middle compartment here, we of course have keyless entry, so you don't have to take the key out of your pocket to easily get inside. And you'll notice all sorts of details without even having to be in the interior, like the AMG branded lock, which is a nice touch. And then finally, we have the roof itself, which is a hardtop retractable convertible roof that has the magic sky top, as Mercedes calls it. This can quickly be stowed away, or you can leave it up. And the benefit of having a retractable hardtop versus a soft top is just how much quieter it is on the inside of this car as compared with a soft top, making it perfect as a long distance luxury cruiser that's perfect in any weather element. Now, as we come back to the rear here, you can also notice just how cleanly it actually stows the top to give it a fantastic side profile to look good with the top up or top down. Finally, here in the back here, you can see the SL65 and AMG branded badging. Again, more of that LED lighting and AMG branded quad exhaust, which is quite aggressive here in the back to give off a great look while still being able to see some of the Parktronic parking sensors that are equipped on this particular vehicle. Next, I want to take a moment to talk about the trunk, which here in the SL65 is a one-touch power operation, and it raises nice and wide to give you easy access to the back. On the SL65 AMG in particular, it also gives you this very cool carbon fiber inlay that makes it feel extra sporty and aggressive. Now, as we take a look at the trunk space itself, it is quite large. However, at the moment, there is this piece in the center that is blocking some of our storage. And the reason that's here is that essentially gives you two different trunk operating options. Now currently with this piece down, all you get is the luggage space inside here for putting items, but you can still use the retractable hardtop mechanism to turn the car into a convertible. However, if this is not enough space for you, you could actually simply move it out of the way, it goes back, and now you get the entire trunk space at your disposal. However, you have turned the car essentially into a two-door coupe and can no longer lower the roof. I like that because Mercedes gave you the option of either using all of your space or a smaller space rather than just restricting you to just having a small space so you can always use the convertible. So this is quite intuitive, and when you're done here, you can even power lower the trunk, which is a nice touch and very, very smart.
Under the hood is the Mercedes Benz M279, a twin-turbocharged 6-liter V12 rated for 621 horsepower and 738 pound-feet of torque with a max boost of 21.75 psi, paired with an AMG SpeedShift 7-speed automatic transmission and limited slip differential, sending power to the rear wheels. The SL65 AMG achieves 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds, a quarter mile in 11.8 seconds, with a governed top speed of 186 miles per hour. The Powertrain gives the SL65 traction braking power with the ability to comfortably cruise on the Autobahn at high speeds for long periods with minimal effort exerted by this luxury roadster, or have some fun in the twisties.
Moving on to the interior of this car, this thing is packed with an insane amount of features as the top shelf luxury roadster that Mercedes offered at the time. This particular car features a charcoal exclusive leather interior that is not only incredibly comfortable, but it is very, very luxurious. Just look at these seats, for example. These are packed with features, which we'll talk about in a sec here, but look at all the styling, the nice side bolstering here, but it's still having a beautiful quilted pattern, the embossed Falterbach AMG logos, the air scarf, and then down into the seat itself, you have a little bit of leg bolstering as well, without sacrificing any comfort that these seats need to provide for long road trips. You still have things like the illuminated AMG door sill here, which is just gorgeous, and even the door cards themselves match the rest of the interior. More of that quilted pattern with contrast stitching, and even carbon fiber, which wraps itself around through the dash of the car and into the center console. As we take a look at the door itself, you can see all sorts of adjustability here. In Mercedes classic fashion, you have your adjustments for your seat located right here with your memory settings. And then below that, you can see the power adjustments for the mirrors and your windows. And additionally, the trunk release and a small pocket located down below with a nice padded armrest again for those long road trips. As we take a look inside, you can see lots of AMG branding, not just in that sill we mentioned earlier, but the carpets and some very nicely plated pedals. And then as you continue throughout, just beautiful classic interiors. If Mercedes was known for anything, it's certainly their interiors, and this car does not miss. Located here on the side, you'll find the parking brake and your lighting controls and more carbon fiber that wraps throughout the interior. And you can even see that panoramic roof, which actually features a really cool thing that I'll show you in a sec that makes it particularly special, while still featuring more of that quilted pattern throughout and then into the very nice fast-backed sloped window. And then of course we do have to mention the fact that in traditional Mercedes fashion, the SLs, with its nice power adjustability here, always features a sort of cargo shelf, if you will, that actually sits behind the front seats here. So no back seat, but instead a little bit more room for interior storage, which is also where you'll find more of those speakers for your Bang & Olufsen sound system that sounds phenomenal in this car, in addition to your pocket for your cup holders there in the back. If we go ahead and move this seat forward now, we can go ahead and climb in and start the car up and take a look at all of the features that are available in the SL65 AMG. As we go ahead and close it up and take a look, the car has a nice greeting for you as well as you sit in it. And of course, you have engine start-stop button here, and it recognizes that the key is in your pocket. You can take a quick look at the mileage, and we could start the car up. You can see everything comes to life here, including the infotainment there in the center of the car. And then we can start to look at the details. First and foremost, right in front of you, you have a mix of a digital screen in the center there that is surrounded by analog gauges. On the left, of course, you'll find things like your fuel gauge and a speedometer that goes up to 220 miles per hour. And then right in the center, you have your digital display, which will change depending on what the car is currently running and what settings you go through, in addition to your actual drive at the top, your turn signals, and on the right side is actually an AMG branded tachometer, which is always a nice thing, along with your coolant temperatures. If we go ahead and zoom out here for a sec, you can see this steering wheel. This is actually the AMG Performance steering wheel. This is another option that was equipped on this particular car that has this micro suede on the exterior and the leather on the top and bottom, in addition to a beautiful AMG branded logo there. On the steering wheel itself, you'll notice that you have some of your navigation controls here on the left side, your horn, of course, in the center, and then some call controls and volume controls over here on the side with the voice assist. And then you also have these beautiful metallic shifters on each side, up on the right side, that are actually mounted to the steering wheel itself, so they're nice and easy to use if you wanted to manually shift through the gears of your SL. Behind that, you can notice the stocks, which of course this car is equipped with cruise control and does have adaptive cruise control at that for measuring the distances for your car. And then you can of course adjust the column itself while also being able to adjust the other components and turn on things like your wipers, all here located on the left side. As we take a look at the center of the car here, you can see the beautiful IWC Schaffenhausen clock there that really stands apart, I think, in this car and really just has a nice presentation to it. Below that, we of course have our infotainment system, which features a digital screen here in the center. And below that, you can see some of the quick navigation items for this. So you can go through the radio, for example, to adjust your controls, and then move on to some of the other items in this car, as well as your fine-tuning adjustments, let's say. Below that, we have a variety of controls here. First one over here is actually your heated seats. Then next to that, we actually have our ventilated seats to keep us nice and cool. And then of course, we have the controls for the air scarf. The air scarf actually uses these vents, as we showed earlier, that are located here in the headrest to actually blow hot air if you have the top down, let's say, but still want to be warm and it's particularly chilly. That's exactly what the air scarf is for. Next to that, you can see some of the eco modes, your hazards, your parktronic controls here to turn it off if you so desire, and then everything over here is for the passenger side. Below that, we also feature dual zone climate control. You can see the independent adjustments here for the driver and the passenger, along with your traditional AC adjustments in the middle. And then below that, covered in carbon fiber, is actually your sort of main pseudo set of cup holders or a nice storage box here. And then below that, we of course have the shifter for our 7-speed automatic, which you actually just move into either drive, or you can put it in neutral even, or all the way up for reverse, which is a nice touch. And it brings up your backup camera. Wasn't legally required yet at this time in 2013, but a nice forward-looking luxury that still makes this car totally usable in this day and age. Lastly, to put the car in park, you simply push the park button, and you can see the nice Falterbach branded there in the shifter itself. Below that, we have a lot of very fun controls here. This rotary dial, of course, is for adjusting the actual drive modes of the car. Currently, it's in comfort, as you can see here. If we take a look at the digital display with that green C at the top, you can see it shift through to Sport and Sport Plus. And then, of course, you have the manual mode as well. And then below that, you have a variety of other controls here. You have your AMG control as well for your, again, for helping things with like traction control and your AMG button. And then, of course, your suspension setting. The suspension setting basically changes the car between comfort and sport, as you can see located there in the center of the car. Pretty straightforward. Over here on the right side is this rotary dial. This is essentially how you're going to work your main infotainment display here. So let's say, for example, we wanted to take a look at more of the seat functionality. Well, we can go ahead and push the seat button here located on the side, and that brings up our seat menu here. And these seats are not just heated and ventilated with air scarf, but as you can see here, they're also massaging seats. So you can actually change the available options here for different types of massages. Again, a very, very nice luxury in a very expensive car. But then furthermore, they also had the dynamic seat controls. Now, the idea of the dynamic seat controls is the fact that you had these airbags in the side bolsters that can actually inflate during sporty driving to better hold you in place, which is a very nice blend and is kind of a reminder of this car's history. While it is an SL, which is kind of a GT or a touring car, it still very much has sporting pretenses and can definitely be a lot of fun on a back road, and can be set up to do so as well with some of the fine tuning offered in this particular car. So that's a quick look at things in the infotainment center. I want to direct your attention now further up. Now obviously you have some of your expected controls, things that allow you to get access to your garages and your gates for setting it up, all that. Again, your map lights, etc. But the roof itself, this is a panoramic roof, and in this particular car, it's the Sky Magic roof, as Mercedes calls it, which is actually sort of a electrochromatic type roof that can switch between letting the light in or darkening up and preventing light from getting into the car. And this is a really nice touch. It adds an extra level of luxury to an otherwise really cool convertible with this button located at the top. And then you have these really, really nice solid mirrors here, which of course just helpful and nice to have for your sun visors. And then as we take a look in the middle here, this is actually where you'll find your convertible roof controls, which also has the controls for your windscreen. And in this button here, which is again kind of a repetitive window button, but what it does differently is it actually controls all of the windows at once, including the windows located there in the back, as opposed to just the driver and passenger side windows, which only operate the main windows. So it's kind of nice that it can cleverly be hidden away when not in use. Lastly, you have some storage here in the back with some USB chargers. And then below that is actually the cup holders we talked about earlier, which can be opened up for additional cup holder storage, in addition to our main Bang & Olufsen logo there for that sound system located in the rear. So that's a quick look at the interior of the SL65 AMG. It is absolutely loaded with interior options, some of which I would say is far beyond what you would find in the average car even today, nearly a decade later, and yet this car just oozes luxury as an ultimate Autobahn luxury cruiser. Okay, is it quick? Yes. Is it fast? Also yes, but really it wasn't designed to be like a supercar per se. It was more designed to be something that could cruise at 200 miles per hour on the Autobahn. That's really kind of what it was built for, and it will do that excellently. What you have here with this twin turbocharged V12 powertrain in the SL65 AMG is something that has so much power and torque, but can use it so smoothly and effortlessly. The idea is you can sit in top gear doing, like I said, 200 miles per hour, or with the speed limiter about 186 miles per hour, and you can do it for as long as you want until you get to your destination, all while doing so in luxury and comfort. And as for the rest of the car, everything is pretty classic Mercedes from what you would expect. On the inside of the car itself, it's really quiet and very well insulated with the top up, which of course is what you would expect. That's one of the main benefits of having this retractable hardtop convertible. The visibility is quite good, and you can see things like the aggressive air slats, which is a really fun thing to look at while driving this vehicle. And you can listen to whatever you don't want. If you don't want to listen to the wonderful twin turbo V12, which really isn't noisy at all in this car, it's actually quite quiet even when in the Sport Plus drive modes. Then you also have that Bang & Olufsen sound system, which also makes up for anything that you don't want to hear on the inside of this car. What's interesting is as you really apply the throttle and you're going in it, occasionally you will absolutely get the traction light flashing at you as it's describing to you how hard it is to put the power down of a twin turbocharged V12. So that really shouldn't come as much of a surprise on that front. As for the rest of the car, the steering is quite easy to use. Obviously it's power assisted, but it's not so easy or too loose per se that it's uninteresting to drive. It feels like you would expect from a Mercedes product of the time, and it's quite nice to use, especially on this particular instance with the optional AMG performance steering wheel, which obviously adds a nice touch to the vehicle as well. The brakes are quite robust on this car, and you need it, because if this car can cruise comfortably at 200 miles per hour, then don't you kind of want something that's also going to stop the car from 200 miles per hour? And so you have massive disc brakes, not just on the front, but also on the rear. So this thing has performance in every aspect. And then if you want to take this from your destination, whether you're cruising from one city to another or even across states, then you can also enjoy the comfort in these wonderful leather seats that also have all their cooling, heating benefits. But then if you find a fun, curvy, twisty road that you want to enjoy driving down, well, then you have the benefit of things like the dynamic controls and bolstered seats, which can definitely get you comfortably cruising and enjoyably cruising wherever you want at a good pace. So it offers a nice blend of a car that's really designed to do a bit of everything and still has plenty of luggage capacity, still has plenty of comfort, while providing a robust top-shelf experience. I mean, this car back in the day, costing over $200,000, would have made it one of the most expensive cars money could buy. Obviously, in this day and age, there's tons of expensive cars, but 2013 was a little bit different, and this car was a little bit different from anything else on sale at the time in 2013. You just get an unbelievable experience with a smooth shifting transmission, a wonderfully powerful, very torquey engine that is also very, very smooth and quiet whenever you need it to be in every driving instance. So with that, that's the end of the video. I want to remind you that this car with just 15,000 original miles is for sale. It's heading up for auction on Bring a Trailer, where it will be selling with no reserve as offered from Cascio Motors. With that, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it and could leave me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it, and consider getting subscribed for more content like this in the future. With that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.